Hi, I'm Rick Reiff, and welcome to Inside OC. Orange County Sheriff deputies have been cashing in big time on overtime. Is it time to cut back? And after all this time, there's still not much to show for the would-be great park, especially with its aggressive housing plan now on hold. But first, an interview with Orange County's new top law woman. Sandra Hutchens has become the county's first female sheriff under extraordinary circumstances. Rick Milkey reports.
The crowd for this board meeting was like no other in recent memory. People standing in the aisles, everyone waiting for the supervisors to conclude a lengthy, nationwide search for a new sheriff.
Every one of us up here sees this choice differently, and I respect the choices we make, but to me this was not a difficult decision at all.
Norby supported longtime Santa Ana Police Chief Paul Walters, as did fellow supervisor Bill Campbell. But the remaining trio felt differently. Their votes, as it turned out, made political history.
I will live up to the confidence that you have placed in me today. I am a change agent. I will be a change agent in the Sheriff's Department.
The board selected Hutchens, a retired division chief with the LA County Sheriff's Department, from among nearly 50 candidates. The supervisors hope she'll help bury the legacy of former Sheriff Mike Corona, who resigned in January and faces federal corruption charges.
I believe our rank and file will support the sheriff. They've wanted a sheriff now for 6 months. We have a sheriff. Like I said, she comes highly recommended from the rank and file in LA County, so I think it's going to be an exciting time for the troops, and I think they'll look forward to working with her.
I look forward to hitting the ground running. I will work very hard, and you will not be disappointed in this decision. Today, I pledge to you. So thank you.
Hutchens is expected to be officially sworn in later this month. In Santa Ana, Rick Milkey, Real Orange.
And now I'm joined by the new sheriff of Orange County, who has been sworn in, Sandra Hutchens. Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you.
What a month it's been for you.
It's been a very whirlwind kind of month.
Yeah. I mean, a month ago, nobody in political circles in Orange County had ever heard of you.
That's true. You know, I literally applied online with the search firm. So nobody came to me and said, gee, I think you should be the next sheriff, or encouraged me to do that. I was a resident in Dana Point, and heard that there was an appointment process, and then I applied. And
we'll get into that whirlwind process in a moment. But, you know, isn't being a sheriff, law enforcement, that's a macho job, isn't it?
Well, yeah, traditionally it has been, I guess, a macho job. But, you know, in my 29 years in law enforcement, I've seen it changed. We have a lot more women that have entered law enforcement, and they're rising to higher positions. This, of course, is the ultimate position on a department, and so I'm really excited about it.
I want to ask you about yourself, because in all the coverage, and it has happened quickly, we haven't heard that much about you as a person. So,
right.
so tell me, where were you born?
I was born in Monterey Park in Garfield Hospital. I'm a local. I'm a a native Californian, and I grew up in Long Beach, and I graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School.
Did you go to college?
I did. I finished my degree late because I went to work at the age of 17, and I've worked continually since then. So I put myself through college and ultimately got my degree in '96.
When you were a little girl growing up, did you play with dolls or did you play with guns?
I played with dolls. And I didn't grow up wanting to go into law enforcement. It just seemed to happen to me. You know, I was working as a secretary with LA County Sheriffs as I was putting myself through college, and I was encouraged to apply to be a deputy. Prior to that, I never thought about it. And so I did. So I passed the written, I passed the oral interview, and I passed the physical, and then I made my decision.
Well, when you did that, at that time, were there women going into law enforcement?
There were, but the fact that they were going out actually working in a police car was new. Relatively new. And so when I did go out, I worked a one-person unit in a very busy station area, and people would look twice at you and look to see where's your partner, where's the guy that's going to help you out here.
So how long do those looks continue?
Yeah, it changed over the years. You know, people began to be more comfortable and got used to seeing women in law enforcement and saw that they could do the job.
Now you're married?
I am. I'm married. I've been married for 10
What's
years.
your husband?
My
What's
husband's
his name?
Larry.
Larry. And
yes.
what does Larry do?
Well, Larry's retired. He worked for LA Unified School District Police Department. It's a 300-person department, and he retired as an assistant chief.
Oh. And does he like to, how does he feel about this whole political thing?
He was thrilled that I decided to put in. I mean, he had encouraged me to do that because I was kind of grousing about all the things that were going on in the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and I thought, you know, law enforcement shouldn't be this difficult in Orange County. There's tremendous community support, and he said, well, why don't you apply? Okay. So I did, and he's thrilled.
So he actually encouraged you.
He did.
I mean, wasn't he giving up? He's retired.
Right.
You had early retirement. Were
right.
you guys looking forward to traveling, or
you know,
what?
we've done a lot of traveling. I've done a lot of traveling in my life, and so it was a nice year to kind of decompress. I had a 3-hour commute to go into Los Angeles, plus some very long days. I have no problem with long days, but now I get to work in my own backyard, which is great.
In your career, when you became you were a deputy, right?
Yes.
And you were on patrol and
yes.
that. And early in your career, you had a traumatic incident. There was a shooting. Talk about that.
I did. Well, it was New Year's Eve, a little after 9 in the evening, and it was in a very, like I say, violence-prone neighborhood. This was
in Linwood? In
Linwood. This was a neighborhood where I had worked and had taken people who had been shot over a $1 gambling bet, you know, to the hospital. It just a lot of assaults and that kind of thing. So heard a lot of different caliber weapons going off in an area where we had a lot of gang activity. My partner and I went to investigate, and in so doing, I confronted a man who had a gun and pointed it at me in very close proximity to me. And so I had to take action, and I did fire, and it was a fatal shooting.
So what was that? And then, like many years later, there was a settlement. You were cleared of any wrongdoing.
Right. The district district attorney rolled on that and did a review, and they found it to be a justified shooting.
What impact did that have on you? And did you think at that point about quitting?
I never thought about quitting. You know, I knew that I did the right thing in that situation, and every law enforcement officer has to be prepared for that. But when you take someone's life, I think it does change you forever. I mean, you live with that forever. Right or wrong, it's something that nobody wants to have to do, but you have to be prepared to do it.
Mm-hmm. What made you decide to apply for sheriff?
I wanted to make a change. I really thought I was the right person for this job at this moment in time, and I believe that. I believe that it was meant to happen for me to get this assignment, because I think I can make great changes. When I say great changes, it's a very excellent department. There's some very good people in that department, and I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of them lately. So when I say change, I don't mean, you know, we have to throw the whole thing out and start over. We're going to improve upon what we're doing right. We're going to correct what's been reported to be wrong. And we're going to be a department that's the best in the nation. There's
been much debate in the media about the gender issue. Do you think your gender hurt you or helped you in getting this job?
I'd like to think it's a neutral. It should be a neutral. And I don't pay much attention. I think people around me...
Well, you had a PR firm putting out press releases touting the fact that you were the female candidate.
True. That's true. That's true. But you look at my experience, you know, and you look at my qualifications and what I've done all these years, and you can put that resume up against anybody. Is being a female a change for Orange County? And yes, and in that sense, that's probably a good thing.
Do you think in some ways it just accentuates the fact that we're having a change here? And
I think it does. I think it does. I mean, it is a clear, obvious visual change. But I think that I can bring a lot to the table with all my experience.
In all the things that happened, people coming to your, rallying to your side in this, a couple names have surfaced. Mm-hmm. Ron Cedillos is one, Lou Banis another. Ron Cedillos, a businessman in town, who was part of the Corona regime originally. And, you know, people are watching this because we want to change. Right. Do you have any concerns at all about the affiliations that have come up?
You know, I don't, because I was introduced to Ron by a friend. You know, my support were former members of LA County Sheriff's Department who reside in Orange County.
Right.
A group of them, one of them was the former Undersheriff Bill Stonich. Bill introduced me to Ron Cedillos. You know, it's been said that he was part of the Corona regime. I think he was one of many supporters of Mike Corona in this county, just as Ron is one of many of my supporters. He's not a sole supporter. He didn't seek me out and say, gee, I want you to be the next sheriff. So he is, like I say, he's one of many supporters.
When did you become aware that Ron and Stonich, they're partners, they're business partners, right? And they want to privatize jails.
Right, and they disclosed that to me early on. I knew that, and with that understanding, we will never do business together.
Okay, so,
you know, that was
folks,
clear.
So folks that have flocked to you, we shouldn't, are you saying you're not, people that have done that are not going to be getting contracts with the county and things like that?
Correct, it'd be a clear conflict of interest in my mind. Yeah.
Another person who has supported you is Bill Hunt, who has run for sheriff, former lieutenant in the department. Are you planning to bring him back?
Well, number one, I'm not sure that he was a supporter. He showed up at one event that I attended, but he's never said, gee, I support you for sheriff. So I'm not sure that that's correct. And I don't know. You know, I don't have any plans at this time to do that. He has some pending litigation against the department, so we'd have to look at that, but it hasn't come up.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And another name is Jack Anderson, who has been the acting sheriff. What are your plans concerning Jack?
Jack will be an assistant sheriff. He will
remain.
remain.
Have you talked to him about that?
I have, and we have a very good working relationship. I think he is a fabulous person. He took on a very difficult job, and we've talked about, you know, what he had to take on his shoulders at a critical time in the department. So he's done fantastic. I want him as part of my team, and he'll remain.
Great. Are you going to be bringing in anybody, any of your old colleagues from L.A.?
I have not decided. I have brought one in as a consultant, retired Chief John Scott. He has extensive jail experience, and he'll be assisting me in doing the jail audit along with some other people, not from Los Angeles County, but consultants who work in the jail business.
Okay, and I think you are on record as saying your intention is to run in 2010.
It is. It is, absolutely, and I look forward to it.
Great. What are the top, give me the top 2 or 3 issues that you have to address.
The jail audit obviously is number one. With the John Chamberlain murder, that's a very important area for me to address. And also, I want to look at the CCWs.
Now, what's CCWs?
Carrying a concealed weapon, a permit for that. That's the sheriff's responsibility to issue those permits. So I want to look at that policy.
You're going to be asking some people maybe to be turning in their permits?
I might. You know, I have to make sure that we followed the law, that we have a good policy in that area, and also the reserve program. You know, we need the reserves. The reserves are a wonderful thing. You can't do your job without them. They volunteer countless hours. But I have to make sure that they're there for the right reason, that we followed all the post mandates on that.
Sheriff, you look great in that outfit, but I was hoping you were going to have your uniform on.
I know. I will on Tuesday, and you'll see me in my uniform a lot after that.
So you're just getting fitted now, hey?
That's right. Okay, I've just gotten fitted and getting ready.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great talking to you. The OC Insiders next, and then the overtime controversy at the Sheriff's Department. Now it's time for the OC Insider from the Orange County Business Journal. Well, poor Henry Nicholas, the billionaire co-founder of Irvine chipmaker Broadcom, is under federal indictment for securities fraud and drug charges. If that's not bad enough, he's got the internet watching him too. A surveillance tape that allegedly shows Nicholas taking drugs popped up on YouTube last summer. Now excerpts have reappeared on the Orange County Register's website. There's also a video parody on the net that shows a cartoon character in a drug-induced daze after partying in Nicholas's underground lair. Well, Jack's surfboard isn't planning to ride out the tough economy by sitting on the beach. The iconic Huntington Beach Surf Shop is planning to open 2 new stores, one in Irvine and another in San Clemente. Another apparel-related OC business is also expanding despite the slowdown. Raj Manufacturing in Tustin sells more than $150 million a year in swimsuits, most priced in the $50 range. Now the company's going upscale with a new designer line called Luxe, with suits costing as much as $200 each. Here's model Kelly Young showing off the new line. And that's it for The Insider. Offshore drilling, the would-be Great Park, and an overtime controversy at the Sheriff's Department. Next on Consider This.
Join us tonight at 6:30 and 11 on KOCE for Real Orange, a news and public affairs program for and about the people of Orange County.
Real Orange spotlights the people and places that make up Orange County lifestyle, business, arts, and politics.
Real Orange is also a forum for newsmakers to discuss and debate the issues affecting us here in Orange County.
Don't miss Real Orange weeknights at 6:30 and 11 only on your PBS station, KOCE.
And joining me on this edition of Consider This, Gustavo Arellano of OC Weekly, Judy Rosener, professor at UC Irvine's Mirage School of Business, and Republican pollster Adam Probolsky. Welcome.
How's it going?
So, Judy, are the women taking over?
This is so ridiculous. I mean, 2 men voted for the male and 2 women voted for the female. So what's the issue? I don't understand.
Well, maybe John Morlock has an issue then.
I don't know. All I can say is 20 years ago we were discussing this, and I find it sort of irrelevant. I think the important thing is what is she going to do and what's she going to bring. And it, you know, as I say, I'm writing a new book on brains, and it turns out men and women are different, and she is going to bring to the table, I think, some attributes that you're going to find are extremely useful at this time.
What do you think, Adam? You were actually supporting Jack Anderson.
Well, I sure was. Jack's a friend, and I'm glad he's going to be staying as an assistant sheriff in charge of operations. That's important for the county. I tell you, though, the private swearing-in ceremony yesterday, I'm a little concerned that there was some gender bias because only one supervisor, and it was a male supervisor, was there. So the women were excluded. There could be some problems there.
Okay, well, I know you're just joking, of course, Adam, but, you know, how did you feel about the whole process? Do you think this became something about gender and that played a big factor in this?
I really don't. I think we ended up with a great sheriff, and virtually everyone I've ever talked to in the last couple of days is behind her, and that's a great thing.
Gustavo, you ready to join us in Kumbaya?
Definitely. No, yes, I am. The only people who brought this up about gender are the people who supported Paul Walters or the people who supported other candidates that weren't Sheriff Hutchens. They're the whiners, they're the moaners and weepers. I think the Board of Supervisors made a great decision with somebody who has proven themselves outside of Orange County and also, at least from her own personal experiences, isn't connected to the people who created the problem in the first place. She really came as an outsider. Sure, she had help with the Women's Republican group down in South County and Cedillos. Those are the connections, but you do have to play some politics even when you want to be sheriff.
Right, okay, and one of the issues she's going to be confronting here is this issue of overtime payments. The Register had a recent expose. My gosh, there's deputies, a number of them, making over $200,000 a year. Not only are they pulling in money, but they're working long hours, and it's raising some questions. What do you make of all this, Gustavo?
From what I read, the base rate for the Sheriff's Department, it's pretty low, so I could understand why these sheriffs are coming in trying to get as much overtime as possible. They're trying to get more money for, you know, more bang for their buck, so to speak. I do think, though, that if that's going to happen, the Sheriff's Department needs to reconsider what they're paying their sheriffs so they don't have to take so many overtime. Overtime hours, ostensibly, you only do when no one else is there to be able to work, that you need somebody to do it above and beyond their means. If they're working all these overtime hours, then we don't have the best possible force out there on the field, and that's what concerns me more than anything.
Yeah, Adam, I know it's a good gig doing what you do with your polling and stuff, but I mean, these guys, I mean, this is unbelievable.
You know, when I think of government waste, I think of a lot of things before I think about overtime of deputies. There's a lot of things that I'm more concerned about than a guy making $200,000 versus $180,000 or $150,000 on the job.
But how about 200 instead of 100 because he's working, you know, 60 hours a week? I mean,
I think there's some things that gross abuse here, but like I said, I'd much rather see focus on a whole lot of other places where government's spending money.
Yeah, I see it very differently coming from a business school. First place, we need more boots on the ground. I would rather see more sheriffs making less. I've been a professor for 30 years, and I don't make nearly what these guys make. That's true. I don't.
And you're a UCI professor.
Yeah, but
you guys don't pull in overtime like that?
No, we don't have any overtime. But the point to me is, when I look as a taxpayer, I guess I'm astounded. I'd much rather have more sheriffs. People are out of work. A lot of guys need work, or women too. So I would say, why not? And I have a feeling the new sheriff's going to do this. Take a look at the culture. What is it that creates this problem that we have where we have to pay overtime for people who are tired and probably can't do the job very well? I think we need more women in the sheriff department.
Well, and we all know women work for less anyway, right?
Oh, yeah, I had to bring that up.
At least.
Yeah,
Not anymore, Rick.
Okay, another issue, Gustavo, the Great Park. Again, the Register did an interesting story pointing out all the money that's been spent on, the Great Park. $6 million so far, and we've got a balloon that hopefully is going to start going back up into the air. Now they've rolled out this plan. The housing is no longer there. We're going to have like a sports park.
And they're going to do a preview park, so a small little recreation of what the entire park's going to be. This is a waste of money.
It's a small world.
It's a small world, exactly. This is a waste of money. This is a waste of time, more specifically. We've been promised, I think the LA Times also done a great job at just covering, there were pamphlets promising that there were going to be parks already open by 2006 or around this time already. Here's 2008, you have a balloon, you have nothing else. You have a big piece of land. I don't even think they've even blown up the runways from the old El Toro Marine base.
Right, a lot of even what they're saying they want to do, they've got to tear up the runways, and nobody knows where the money's going to come from.
In the first place, this is a boondoggle. It was from the beginning. I was very much against it for a variety of reasons, which I won't go into.
You were a pro-airport person.
Well, because I fly a lot, and I fly over that area.
And because you live under the runway.
I live under the... No, it doesn't bother me at all. That doesn't bother me at all. The point I want to make, they put more money on publicity. You look at the PR, I've been keeping it, and it's like the whole thing's a park. The park's a teeny little park. It's going to be development and this and that. You know, I said Barbara Boxer came out with Larry Agron and said she was going to support this. I was livid. And I just sent Barbara Boxer a long letter with a Register article and said I wanted to talk to her. I think she is being completely...
bamboozled.
And why? I've known Larry Agron for a long time. Let me tell you, this has all been planned. This is a development, and I don't mind that. But let's be honest. This whole thing about the noise over the airport, I live right under it. Doesn't bother me a bit. And secondly, planes are going to be taken off this way. I think it's dishonest.
Adam, Planning Commissioner in Irvine, what have you to say?
You know, this is virtually all the dynamic of a down real estate market. And so the money isn't there to build a park. It will be when they start building houses and other residential product and retail and hotels. That's where the tax increment will come from, and that's how they'll build a park. So it's
just one of those things. What are the poor folks supposed to do? I mean, the housing market's down, so of course things are going to be slower.
Well, and nobody's too poor.
So you're defending Larry then?
No, I'm not. Look, the Apollo program that is the big balloon is kind of silly to me. But the idea that we don't have a built-out park today and we don't have tens of thousands of residential units is just a function of the market, and that'll change over time.
So you think it will happen? You think we're going to have a great park there?
We'll have a park. I never thought it was going to be that great in the first place. The whole goal in the beginning was to kill an airport.
Right, and
that
mission
was
accomplished.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also the amount of money being spent on publicity. I get these huge, gorgeous, and I know what they cost, and I know Mr. Ford because I knew him in the Coastal Commission days. He's making
Arnold Ford, the consultant.
Which I won't go into, but making millions. Well, he nearly ended up in jail. I'll tell you, some years ago. I better watch out. What I'm saying.
Better watch out.
Take that.
So
put that out. So here's my point.
Let's say that's.
I forgot. I shouldn't have said that. But my point is, I really object to taxpayers' money being paid for all this publicity when we're not getting
Judy,
what we
you
pay
get
for.
the last big word on this one. You can watch this show and past shows by going to KOCE.org and clicking on Inside OC. My guests have been Sandra Hutchens, Gustavo Arellano, Judy Rosener, and Adam Probolsky. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again Inside OC.
Inside OC is brought to you by the following.
What we've been able to accomplish over the years is to replace large incisions and long hospital stays with much smaller incisions and hospital stays of less than 23 hours.
Where the land ends, a new lifestyle begins. A unique oceanfront resort. The Strand at Headlands offers custom home sites on the water's edge. The Strand at Headlands, Southern California's last beachfront community.
Lennar.com. Today's new homes. Everything you want. Everything you need. That's the logic of Lennar. Lennar.com.
Support comes from City National Bank, providing complete financial solutions to entrepreneurs, their businesses, and their families on the way up in Orange County for more than 30 years. City National Bank believes in the power of the entrepreneur. On the web at cnb.com.
The City of Anaheim. Founded in 1857, Anaheim is Orange County's original city and California's 10th largest city. Information on living, working, or visiting Anaheim is available at www.anaheim.net.